The act of one is the act of all. And how would you allege that the act of these law enforcers will also charge the former president for the victims of these extrajudicial killings?
Well, one, Your Honor, the character itself of crimes against humanity says that this is widespread and systematic killings. At ibig sabihin po ay may sistema na inilagay ang isang nakatataas na opisyales. Usually ay nasa gobyerno para utusan yung mga papatay, kumbaga. At pangalawa, ang konsepto po kasi ng conspiracy ay nag-usap-usap kayo, pinagplanuhan. At kung mai-establish ng ICC, and we believe so, kung mai-establish ng ICC na yung mga patayan ay konektado lahat sa war on drugs, konektado nun sa directives ni Duterte, maituturing po itong conspiracy o pinag-usapan. In fact, Your Honor, when we go back to the concept of negation and neutralization, the policy says so. And we can pull up a lot of police reports where the police would say, oh, we neutralized the suspect. And it is clearly they fatally shot the suspect. Meaning, sinabi mo po na ganito, and this is how it was interpreted on the ground. Yung pong mga police report, klaro ang sinasabi, when you neutralize, you kill that person.
So basically, in layman's term po, Attorney Conti, because of the policy on the war on drugs of former President Duterte, and that is being implemented by the law enforcers, ibig sabihin, they can all be charged for the crimes against humanity because of that policy and implemented by these law enforcers.
A clarification, Your Honor, in crimes against humanity, and if this is charged before the International Criminal Court, they will only haul to court the most responsible, those who bear the greatest responsibility.
And in this case, Attorney Conti, who appeared to be the most responsible?
Clearly, the most responsible for crimes against humanity in the Philippines, in the acts of murder and other inhumane acts, would be none other than President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. That would include some other lower officials, perhaps Senator Bato de la Rosa, who also served as the chief of police during that time.
Are you familiar of the Senate inquiry that was conducted a week ago?
Yes, was it a week ago? I think so. This is the Senate inquiry also on they call it the Philippine War on Illegal Drugs.
And later on, and I'm sorry, and a while ago, we also heard the former president reiterated his statement in which he said that I take full legal responsibility on the policy and the implementation of the war on drugs. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I also heard him say that he would also like to bear the responsibility for the consequences, legal and illegal.
With that statement, matutulungan po ba kayo at yung mga biktima o pamilya ng biktima nitong EGK doon sa kaso sa ICC?
To some extent, Your Honor, yes. Mr. Chair, the admissions before the legislative bodies in the Philippines could serve well in the investigation where they are determining who is most responsible. Ito na nga po, ang tanong nila, sinong may kasalanan, may umaamin. But moving forward into trial, there would be some sort of processes before these statements could be taken as evidence, but it's just a matter of procedure. Pwede pong gamitin ng mga sinabi ni Duterte dito at sa Senado sa pagbubukas po ng trial sa ICC at sa kahit na ano pa man pong korte.
I've seen one of your interviews in the television, and yet you are hopeful that before the 2024 ends, a warrant of arrest will be issued by the International Criminal Court. Inaasahan niyo po ba talaga na lumabas bago matapos ang taon ngayon?
Well, yes, Your Honor. But of course, there are processes with the ICC that are out of our control.
Mr. Chair, I just would like to share and inform everyone that earlier today, the Executive Secretary, former Chief Justice Lucas Bersamin, stated that if the former president desires to surrender himself to the jurisdiction of the ICC, the government will neither object to it nor move to block the fulfillment of his desire. Can we ask the reaction or the comment of the lawyers of the victims?
It would be nice to do that, sir, but they do not have any
I think, Mr. Chair, if there's a
Tandaan mo yan.
question with regards to the ICC, the interpretation of the statement of the Executive Secretary is that if the ICC will issue a warrant of arrest and the Interpol is going to execute the warrant of arrest, the Philippine government, the Marcos administration, will not object to it and will allow the serving of the search warrant against President Duterte or whoever is the subject of such search warrant, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I fully agree, Attorney Colmenares. And in fact, that is what is stated in the second paragraph of the statement issued by the Executive Secretary, which I quote, "But if the ICC refers the process to Interpol, which may then transmit a red notice to the Philippine authorities, the government will feel obliged to consider the red notice as a request to be honored, in which case the domestic law enforcement agencies shall be bound to accord full cooperation to Interpol pursuant to established protocols." So before I would elicit your comment or reaction, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask the comment of our former President Duterte about this issuance of the Executive Secretary.
I'm happy with the narration of whatever it says there is. Ang problema, walang jurisdiction. Bigyan mo muna ako ng jurisdiction before anything else. Before you move, jurisdiction muna. May jurisdiction ba sila?
Okay, Mr. Chair, I would like to ask the lawyers from
Yes.
the NUPL, or probably Attorney Diokno can also explain.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The ICC has jurisdiction. When we signed the Rome Statute, it was stated there, Article 127, that the ICC continues to have jurisdiction even if a country has withdrawn, if the proceedings have been instituted before the effectivity of the withdrawal. So 2017, na-file ang kaso originally, and then 2018, ito namang sa Rise Up Mga Pamilya, effectively March of 2019, ang withdrawal ng Pilipinas. So it has been, it has jurisdiction under Article 127. Bakit nilagay sa ICC yon? Kasi Mr. Chair, pag wala yon sa ICC, ang gagawin na lang ng mga presidente at mga prime minister, pag may kaso sila sa ICC, magwi-withdraw lang sila, wala nang mangyayari. Pero nilagay ng ICC yun na pag nasimulan na ang investigasyon, bago maging effective ang withdrawal mo, the ICC has jurisdiction. The second point, Mr. Chair, is this. Doon sa ICC, mayroong complementarity clause. Ang nakalagay sa ICC complementarity clause is precisely this. If the person is being investigated or prosecuted sa bansa na kung saan siya, then ICC genuinely investigated or prosecuted, then the ICC will not admit the case. Inadmissible siya. Ngayon, ang tanong, may kaso ba o investigasyon o prosecution ang mga akusado sa ICC? Answer, no. So therefore, hindi magti-trigger ang complementarity. And of course, nabanggit kanina, Mr. Chair, may admission mismo si dating Presidente Duterte na ang mga korte natin dito ay ineffective, inefficient. Talagang magagamit po yan, Mr. Chair, sa ICC because the ICC also has a phrase na pag sinabi niya, kahit pa kinasuhan ka sa Pilipinas, pero ito ay inability or unwillingness, ibig sabihin, hindi makadeliver ng accountability, then the ICC continues to have jurisdiction. So the ICC has jurisdiction because of those terms, Mr. Chair. And last point na lang, Mr. Chair. Pag pumirma tayo ng kontrata, we subtract something from our sovereignty. When we signed the protocols with the Interpol na pag may sineserve kayo dito na warrant of arrest, susundin namin yan. That's part of our giving up a part of our sovereignty doon sa ganyang klase na obligasyon. The same din sa ICC. At hindi maganda, Mr. Chair, na pag sakali hindi i-fulfill ng Philippine government ang pinirmahan niya sa Rome Statute many years ago, ang sabihin ng international community, hindi pala kayo mapagkatiwalaan. Pirma kayo ng pirma ng kontrata, pero pag-alanganin na o treaty, pag-alanganin na atras kayo. So it is also to the interest of the Philippine government na i-fulfill ang obligasyon sa ICC precisely because we have committed ourselves to do our obligation. So in any case, Mr. Chair, the ICC has jurisdiction, and we are supposedly bound dapat to implement that jurisdiction, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, is it correct to assume that the subject matter of the case before the ICC or the crimes that we are referring to are crimes committed before the withdrawal?
Yes,
that correct?
Mr. Chair. That is correct, Mr. Chair.
If I may add, Mr. Chair and Your Honors, that was one of the issues taken up by the pretrial chambers. Ito na po yung court ng International Criminal Court when it granted the request of the prosecutor to conduct a formal investigation. In September 15, 2021, sa isang written decision ng pretrial chamber, they found, number one, that there was reasonable basis to proceed with the investigation, and number two, that the case falls within the court's jurisdiction. Hindi po nila papayagan ang prosecutor na mag-imbestiga sa isang kaso kung wala naman jurisdiction ang ICC. Kung ganun po, dapat matagal na nilang dinismiss ang kaso. It's very clear under the rulings of the ICC as well as the Rome Statute, which is the treaty that the Philippines ratified, that that jurisdiction exists.
Mr. Chair, nais ko rin pong magdagdag dun sa mga sinabi nila Attorney Neri and Attorney Diokno. Bukod po sa Rome Statute itself, bukod po sa pronouncement ng pretrial chamber ng ICC, ang mismong Korte Suprema natin in the 2021 case of Pangilinan versus Cayetano, I quote from the decision penned by Senior Associate Justice Marvic Leonen. What is the effect of withdrawal? Yun po ang issue na sinagot dun sa ruling na yun. Withdrawing from the Rome Statute does not discharge a state party from the obligations it has incurred. Then the Supreme Court proceeded to say, a state shall not be discharged by reason of its withdrawal from the obligations arising from the statute while it was a party. Its withdrawal shall not affect any cooperation with the court in connection with criminal investigations and proceedings in relation to which the withdrawing state had a duty to cooperate and which were commenced prior to the date on which the withdrawal became effective. So malinaw, kahit nag-withdraw na, dun sa mga alleged crimes against humanity committed within the period of 2016 to 2019, I'm sorry, 2011, may I correct myself, 2011 to 2019. Yung 2011, yun po ang date na rinatify ng Senado yung Rome Statute, na naging officially member state tayo ng Rome Statute. Yung 2019 naman ay yung date na naging effective yung withdrawal. Kasi winidraw po tayo ng dating Pangulong Duterte sa Rome Statute noong March 2018. So 1 year after that, March 2019, naging effective yung withdrawal. Nakasabi, malinaw talaga yan sa Rome Statute, na habang miyembro ka, meron kang obligasyon to cooperate kung ano man yung mga proceedings. So miyembro pa tayo from 2011 to 2019, Kaya pwede pa na mag-imbestiga ang ICC. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you for
Your
that.
Honor, may I be